everyone. My name is Padmini Nidumolu, and I'm the co-founder of Lean and Agile for Women, an initiative to raise the floor for the women around us, to support each other, to offer to each other, and seek from each other in a psychologically safe and vulnerable space. As part of this initiative, we have launched a project called LIA100, a project which is meant to reach 100 women across the globe in lean and agile spaces. And again, these are 100 among several women we know, but we have asked for nominations from the local communities, agile communities, lean communities, and we curated a list of 100. And as part of this series, we are bringing an amazing, incredible woman all the way from Berlin, Germany, and her name is Alisa Stolze. And I hope I said it right. Welcome, Alisa. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me.
You're absolutely welcome on this platform. Let me introduce very briefly about you, Alisa, and we'll dive into the questions shortly.
Sure.
A little bit about Alisa. Since 2016, Alisa worked with the founder of EduScrum and national and international EduScrum teams to train and support teachers worldwide. As the first licensed female EduScrum trainer, she's responsible for the implementation of EduScrum in Germany, together with her colleague, Christina. She's also part of the Scrum Events Network in Germany, which is organizing the annual German Scrum Day conference, Scrum trainer and fellow as well, and she's a Scrum at Scale trainer. She was a speaker at the online Women in Agile Europe 2019 summit, and she's now the co-organizer of Women in Agile 2020. And a little bird told us that she is a former performing artist. That is incredibly intriguing. Welcome, Alisa, again. So, tell us a little bit about your journey from being a performing artist to being, who you are today, because I know several women often are very apprehensive to shift careers. It might not be shifting 100%, but to extend their careers, right, into agile or lean. We often get, questions about how can we get into agile? I'm this, I'm that, right? So please share your story.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's really actually an extending of careers. I have the impression it was not intentionally. I started off as a musical theater artist, so I was singing, dancing on stage, and I very quickly shifted myself to work for German TV, for programs that offer live shows, and those live shows were, well, pioneeringly audio descripted. So what we had in Germany already was, of course, the movies that had some extra description on a second audio channel, and it was new then, and it came from Austria, I have to admit. to get some get live shows and have them inclusive as well. So I worked for TV, for German official channels, ZDF, NDR, and so on. All our German listeners and watchers know what I mean. And I did quite a lot of those shows, and just added a sound to what people would be able to see if they could see, or if they could see properly. So I did that description. I really loved that. And without really planning to, I landed in my first Scrum training. And from all of my experience from theater and from all the work for TV, I felt like, yeah, well, of course, what do the other people do? It felt so natural to me. But but I could see that everybody in that training, and I think it was not about the trainer, I think he did a great job, but everybody else in the training was having a quite hard job transferring their minds or shifting their minds from what they were used to do, how to plan their work, do their communication, to, well, an agile way of working or even thinking. And I was really puzzled. I felt like that's interesting. And what I even saw then was it was a very special training I attended as a reviewer. Actually, it was a training where the boss of the company wanted his employees to be very healthy, and he added half an hour of meditation to every training. So we started with meditation, and I saw those people being so uncomfortable. It was just about actually sitting and, well, just coming to the place where you right now are, and just feeling your body, and where are you straight, and can you just be a little bit more straight, and what your breath, and so on. And they could hardly even close their eyes to arrive in the room. And I just thought, well, this is not how people are made, huh? What happened between what the is happening for normal people,
right,
to be so enthusiastic and open and refreshing as children, and then arrive in the workplace and be so
different,
closed, different, and apart from themselves in a way. So that really shocked me. And that was in 2015, and then I attended more trainings and I got certified and I learned more about Scrum. And then there came this EduScrum thing around, and so I thought, well, this is a good chance to really make a change from the beginning.
Yeah, in fact, that leads me to my next question, Alisa.
Yes.
And thank you so much for sharing that meditation, right? Because I think that's very profound. We forget our true selves, our authentic selves sometimes. And unless you bring your authentic self to work, it's very hard to make an authentic impact, right? So my next question leading to that is, EduScrum, right? What made you choose EduScrum as your platform to begin with? I know you're extending to other platforms as well. Tell us a little bit about EduScrum.
Well, EduScrum was the one platform to really start doing Scrum at a young age. So that is what made it so attractive to me and to my network Scrum events, which supported it at the beginning and is now supporting it, of course, with a platform. I can post my trainings on the platform. I can always share new things on the platform from Scrum events. But it was meant and is still meant to really make a difference. Well, can I say that? It's not that Scrum or other agile people don't want to make a difference, but I have the impression it's so much work and it's so hard for people to change late, although maybe the younger generations are not that, maybe they are already more open due to the way they communicate, due to, internet, Snapchat, TikTok, I don't know. But I thought we really have to start early, not just to bring Scrum into the schools, into the people, but to keep people more agile, to stop people from being de-agilized in a way, because I had the impression you don't really need to learn this. It's actually a natural way of working. We just unlearn it. So that's why.
Very much so.
It happened, yes.
Yeah. No, I'm personally very glad that you're doing that, because that concept is very close to my heart. We were chatting a little bit earlier about, the schools and education, academics, and how Agile can really influence and impact that part. So definitely aligns and resonates with me quite a bit. Now, I also saw that you're the first women trainer, right? For EduScrum, concept. Tell us a little bit about what that is like when you are training, when you are trying to collaborate with your students. Does being a woman bring any different dimension, any other nuances, empathy or more patience, with the young students? Share us a little bit about if it is any different.
Well, yes, I think for EduScrum, it's actually not that different, being a woman, being a man. To say the whole EduScrum community, the whole trainer community is very, very female. So I think it's typical, at least in Germany, the people who become teachers are still mostly women. We have the majority of our teachers are women. So this helps me. I think we have a different way of communicating, and I have a good fit. I am not a teacher. I studied a little bit of teaching for, well, audio pedagogics, because I wanted to do more of the inclusive work for TV. So I started audio pedagogics, but I didn't finish it. Then came Scrum. And I think, although I'm not a teacher, but I have more of a Scrum background and artist background, I have a good fit to do this. Actually, in EduScrum, we are more women than men. And yes, I was the first woman trainer, and I even was the third worldwide after the founder. So we are a quite female community, but I recognize differences when it comes to Scrum training, of course. I recognize that while this more maybe soft, empathetic way of talking, being maybe more quiet is maybe not the right word, but being not too loud, not too like, look what I've done, but being more collaborative. I don't want to do any man anything wrong here, but being more soft is very helpful in the EduScrum trainings. But I have the impression in Scrum trainings, it's sometimes a little impediment on the other hand. So for EduScrum, it's actually perfect. But yeah, Scrum trainings, I would say, I always feel like I have to toughen up a little bit.
Yeah, I think because you're handling two platforms there, right? For probably very different kind of audience. But
yes, that's also true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point. It is not to say that probably men cannot do certain things we can do, but it's just that we bring a different nuance, different dimension to the way we communicate. That is it, right? It is a variation, not lack thereof. So I think that's a very good point, right? Yeah. And I want to go back to your transition from being an artist and extending your career. I want to go back to that point a little bit, because I meant to ask, when you decided to extend your career, right, and explore the world of agile and probably opportunities, for career, did you have any apprehensions or internal barriers, internal voices which told you you're doing a mistake, it might not work out, it's risky, why don't you be just where you are? Because these are the things that several of us struggle with, right? And most of us stop. We don't even take that next step. The reason why I'm asking you, Alisa, is your answer might be a torch to somebody who's struggling with that dilemma, if you will.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't even have a background in any kind of business education. I come from parents who were self-employed always, who had their own business. So I had the impression that somehow I could handle a lot, but I definitely I was coming from a completely different world. So I especially didn't know, will people accept what I have to say, or will they want to hear what I have to say? Because I went away from being an artist because I wanted to make a difference once in being an artist, and I found out at that spot where I was, I couldn't. On stage, I wanted to, but it was it was entertainment, which has its value, but I couldn't really make a difference. If I quit, somebody else would come directly and be there, same size, same face, same everything, same talent. Actually, yes, one row, 150 women at least. So then I came to TV, and I had the impression there for the blind people, I could make a difference, but it wasn't enough. So I knew from the way I was thinking, I was used to doing work really collaboratively. You could not put any play on stage without having everybody there trying everything. You cannot say, well, she's a size M, and just do a costume for me, and I might slip, I might lose it. You cannot say, well, you're the choir, these are your this is your English notes, well, this is your sheet. Just do it, learn it, and everything will be fine. You cannot do it. Everything has to come together. I knew I had something to say because my background was so different. But my background was so different. I thought, well, will anybody want to hear what I have to say? And I'm happy that I took the step. And it was actually, sometimes it's still hard. I mean, I learned a lot. I started this EduScrum thing in Germany, and I really have a lot of experience, but still sometimes there's this little voice, but what if somebody knows better? And I think that's a question for so many people. For so many women, of course, somebody will, in some way, somebody will always know better. And well, we will always have to grow. But it's worth the try. It's so worth the try. I wouldn't want to be where I was 4 years ago. Not because it was bad, but I feel that now I do make a difference. And I personally feel that so many women, although they would not try, maybe not be confident to step out, show themselves to the world and say, hey, I had this amazing idea, or I have this experience, I want to share it with you. They could make a huge difference. Absolutely. And colleagues,
I love that.
Say they all cook with water, huh?
No, I think I love what you said. It's worth a try, right? And every trial doesn't lead to success necessarily, but at least you've tried it, and you will only know if it's worth or not worth if you try, and that's the first step at it. So
and even more, we don't really know where life leads us. We have a little philosophical, but I think every step, even if it feels like a failure, every step leads just to the next door that might open. And who knows, it might not have been EduScrum, but something different. But at least I would have moved and gotten myself into a position where I could try something new.
Absolutely. No, I think that's a great mindset shift that all of us can leverage. So thank you so much, Alisa. So as we wrap up, do you have any message that you want to package for our community? It could be just a one-liner, a word, but something that you strongly believe and something keeps you going.
Something that I strongly believe and something that keeps me going. Oh, I don't have a one-liner.
That's okay.
But I would say, I think in the US it's different, but for us in Europe and in Germany, ladies, come try. Come to our Women in Agile conference. It's in November, on November 23rd. We're launching a beautiful program, which has been there before. Actually, it's not our program, but it's a program about for women who haven't spoken before. The New Voices program, and who want to try. They will be mentored, and they can just find out what it's like at November 23rd online, and in May 2021, hopefully,
Right.
in Berlin. We need you. I definitely I could use some female colleagues.
All of us can.
We need
So,
you. We need more diversity in every way. I mean, we see it now in Black Lives Matter, like all lives
yeah,
matter. We
yeah.
need it. Now is the time. Yes, now is the time. Come, help us.
Yeah, and I
Help
think that
yourself.
that very much aligns with what you said, right? It's worth a try. So
Yes.
come and explore yourself, explore the opportunities out there, and now is the time. So give it a try, and it's okay to fail. I think that's something that we all need to remember anyway. We should give ourselves permission to fail. So, and that's a very profound message. Thank you so much, Alisa. That this has been wonderful. We wish you all the best for everything you're doing and the impact you're making in the community. And please keep it going. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on LIA100.
Thank you so much.